Good evening everyone, myself Ashu Sharma. Today we will see is subclass method, its instance method and method overriding in Python. So this is important concept in order that we have seen that inheritance is a wonderful concept of any object-oriented programming language as we use that in Python as well. So let's start with the concept of is subclass. Here we have this method syntax. In Python, if you have to make a given line as a statement, so you have to put this hash upfront and it makes a comment. So this is that syntax we have is subclass, and within the parenthesis we have sub comma super. So this sub and super is for the subclass and superclass. So you have this method, and now we use this method in this segment of a program. We created one class calculation 1, and then there is a function summation where we pass a comma b along with self and return sum of these two, a plus b. So we have to make return value as a summation. Second class we have created calculation 2, then define a function multiplication and return a value a multiplication b. And the last that class we have here created is derived class, and we pass this to calculation 1 comma calculation 2, and then we have this function divide and a divided by b. Now here we created an object small t equals to derived follow up with pair of parentheses. Now under this print we apply this function is subclass and pass derived comma calculation 2, and again we print is subclass, and within this parenthesis we have passed calculation 1 and calculation 2. So what exactly it means that this function will return as an outcome either true or false if this first class is a subclass of second class. Means to say, if this first class is a subclass and second class is a superclass, so this first class is a subclass of this class, then it returns true. And if this subclass is not a subclass of this, then it returns false. So first class must be a subclass and second class must be a superclass. In that case, is subclass method returns true, otherwise it will return false. In the second case, same thing. So if we see this example, then we say that derived class is a subclass of calculation 2. So that should return true first. And in this case, calculation 1, calculation 2. So calculation 1 is not a subclass of calculation 2. So in this case, it will return false. So if when we run this script, then we will see what was the outcome of this script. Now the next is instance obj comma class method. So is instance method we pass object comma class. So we have this example like class calculation 1, then we have a def summation is a function where we pass a comma b and self return a plus b. Then we put multiplication again, a multiplication b, and then derived function and a division b. And finally we create an object small d equals to derived. So here what happened that print inside this print we have is instance method d comma derived. So d should be an object of this derived. So this is instance function returns true if this first given that parameter is object and second given parameter should be a class. So if this first parameter is object of this class, then we can say that this is simply returns true, otherwise it will return false. So this is the second example of instance method. The first one was is subclass, and second one is instance. Now we will see method overriding. So see, the concept of method overriding is always there when we define same method definition of a superclass method, uh, and we have to define that different definition of this method in subclass. So we have same method name, but the definition that we define in superclass, that will be different in subclass, but the method name is same. So let's see, we can say that method overriding where a specific implementation of a method of a superclass into subclass with different definition, then we say that concept is known as method overriding. So here we have a class animal, we have a function speak, and it prints speaking. Then we have a class dog which inherits animal. Here this is the syntax. This syntax is for the inheritance. So dog class inherit animal class, and then we have a same function name speak over here, but the definition part is going to be changed. Here in this class, the definition part is going to print speaking, but in this case it is printing barking. So here we have created an object d equal dog followed by parenthesis pair, and then this object belongs to dog class. So d dot speak, that is going to be print once we call this. So barking must be an outcome. So now we see another example, that real lifetime example of method overriding. This one. Now see, here in this case, we have created a class bank. Then there is a definition and function that get return of interest ROI and pass self through this and return 10 as an integer value. Then we have a bank SBI, and this SBI bank inherit this bank class. So here return of interest is going to be print 7, and in this case ICICI, it inherits this bank class again. So here that return is 8. So things to say, if we say the instantiation, we have three different objects, b1, b2, b3 of bank class, SBI class, and ICICI class. So now the first that bank rate of interest is b1 dot get ROI, then call this function, and then b2 dot get ROI, and then b3 dot get ROI. So this is the way that rate of interest that we are going to be print. So first that object belongs to a bank, so it must be 10. Then second object b2 belongs to SBI, then it must be 7, and the last one is returning 8. So the outcome should be in the order. If we see all these examples, the order must be, the first should be true, second should be false, then that should be true. So we have a sequence true, false, true with respect to this outcome, and then we have barking as an outcome, and finally we have that 10, 7, and 8. So now we save this script Control S and run this program by pressing Shift plus Enter. So this is that we have outcome. The first one was true, second one was false, as that first class was not the subclass of this second class. If you see the example, then you see that calculation 1 is not the subclass of calculation 2. If you see the example, then definitely you will see that calculation 1 is not that subclass of calculation 2. So that's why it returns false. In the next case, because D is an object of derived, so that's why we have outcome is true. And in the next example, because that object belongs to dog class, so the definition of that speak function is going to print is barking. So d dot speak is going to print barking. Okay, and in the next example, as we see that b1 belongs to bank, b2 belongs to SBI, b3 belongs to ICICI. So as an object, then we see that rate of interest is 10, 7, and 8. It means to say that there is a wonderful concept in inheritance of is subclass or is instance, definitely, and method overriding is also wonderful for dynamic binding that we used to do in different languages, which is object-oriented languages. So the wonderful concept of that, and this is definitely a solution towards a static binding limitations in object-oriented programming language and some in general scenarios. So thank you so much for being with me in this session. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon, so whenever I upload new video, then definitely you will get the notification. Thank you very much.